Well, it's a beautiful day, like always. And today I want to talk about suffering. What is suffering? Well, suffering is what you do to yourself. Now, we all have pain, and some might say that is suffering. Oh, I'm suffering from this pain. But pain itself is not human suffering. Pain is just pain. Okay? What human suffering is the thoughts that go with that pain and the emotions. For instance, let's say you got run over by a car, or you got part of your body run over by a car, your leg broken, and you're sitting in the hospital bed and you're saying to yourself, you are such an idiot. What were you doing standing in the road? You know? Or what kind of an idiot are you? And then just the condemnation goes on from there, and that is the human suffering. And after a while, you say, well, that guy in the car was the one to blame. And you play the blame game. Oh no, it was my mother for not telling me to stay out of the street, okay, or whatever it is. You find anyone you can to blame aside from yourself, and then you go back to condemning yourself. This is what human suffering is. Now, when this happens, it makes us unhappy. And, you know, unhappiness is bad because it never ends. I mean, seeing a therapist is good, but it's not going to do the trick because that sense of unhappiness is just going to stick with you. Okay, there's only one way to escape that unhappiness, and that is awakening. So, what is awakening? Well, awakening is simply not paying attention to your thoughts. Okay? There's so much beauty and wonderfulness in the world, even though it's falling apart right now. Okay? That you can see and hear and feel and touch. Okay? But because of your constant condemnational thinking that's going on in your head, okay, or your mind, you can't feel things. And once in a while, you might be able to touch a dog and feel the dog's energy or whatever it is. But you can't really feel nature as such because you're constantly judging it. Oh, this tree looks like a maple. Oh, this tree looks like an oak. Oh, this must be a pine tree. Oh, that's a garbage tree. Okay? By naming things and judging things, you're discounting them. And therefore, you're not really seeing them. So, in order to understand what this suffering is, you have to look at yourself because that's where it is. Okay? I've talked about letting go of stuff and recognizing who you are. But the most important recognizing you have to do is to recognize that those thoughts aren't you. Those thoughts aren't coming from you. They're coming from your ego, your fake identity, which wants to make you feel bad about whatever's happened. Why does it want to make you feel bad? Because then it feels like it has power over it, okay, which is what it wants. So, this suffering that we all go through in our lives is the real problem. Because let's say you're born and you grow up and you're all happy, everything is great because you're a child and your mom loves you and so on and so forth. But when you hit, your teenage years, everything's not all wonderful and sweet because you're a teenager and you're realizing that some of the stuff just isn't very cool. And so you rebel because you're feeling dissatisfied. That's part of the unhappiness that is going on. And you take drugs, okay, which is one way to escape it, but it's not the best way. There's nothing wrong with taking drugs if that's what you want to do. Okay, I certainly have taken drugs in my life. But if you become addicted to those drugs and it becomes a downward cycle, you're going to die. And I don't think anyone wants to die, do they? Anyway, the thing to remember is that thinking that's coming out of your head is not you. Okay? The thing that's making you feel bad, and your fake identity loves to use your emotions against you. Okay? Whenever there's something bad happens, there's an accompanying emotion. Okay? Fear, hate, jealousy, whatever it is. Okay? And that emotion just adds to your unhappiness, adds to your suffering. You know, I don't know if you've ever felt this part of your body just feel totally awful because you have an emotion rising in you, but I felt it. You get this feeling in your chest, and your mind is busy telling you what an idiot you are. Okay? And, you know, it's bad. I don't know if you've ever seen the Ren and Stimpy show, but Ren, who's a dog, is constantly telling the cat, what an idiot you are. Okay? In this case, Ren is your fake identity, and you're the cat. Because you tell yourself that all the time. And that telling, okay, it's not really you that's telling it, it's the fake identity, is destroying you. You cannot feel good about your life if you have someone constantly telling you what an idiot you are, okay? Did you hear that bird? I heard it. I don't know if it got onto the tape, but it's a beautiful sound. But if you can't get past the stuff going on in your head, you won't be able to appreciate it. Okay? Another thing. If you're constantly thinking, then you cannot change those thoughts because it's like a train, okay, that goes round and round, okay, in a big circle. And every time the train comes around, more negative thoughts go into your head. And when you start thinking bad things about other people to make yourself feel better, which is what we do, okay, that sends out negative vibes, okay? And people aren't going to want to, be around you with those negative vibes coming out of you. Whether you say anything to anyone, you're saying it to yourself. Well, you are not saying it, the ego is saying it, the false identity is saying it. Okay? And those things, they come out, whether you like it or not. Okay? Have you ever known anyone that was always bitter and always seemed like they just hated everything? I have. And why are they like that? Because the train is constantly going inside their head. And I don't pretend to know everything here. I'm just giving you what I know, what I have experienced. That train isn't going to stop on its own. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep on going. Okay? there is a way to stop it, and that is to recognize that you, that is the part of you that is you, is not the one that's doing this. It's not the one that's thinking these things. It's not the one that's really saying some of the things you say. Okay? It's your false identity. You think it's you. Okay? But it's not. Anyway, I guess the main thing is to remember who you are. You are not a person. You are a soul. And as such, you should have freedom. The soul is begging for freedom. It's sitting inside of you just waiting for the time when you will recognize that it's there. People who have experiences, spiritual experiences, that's their soul crying out to be free. Okay? And, I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm making these videos, because I want people to be free. Okay? Anyway, I guess that's enough for this particular video. I love you all. You're all part of me, and I'm part of you. Okay? Because we're just all one thing. Aside from these bodies, okay, we're not separate. In these bodies, yes, we're separate, but we're not separate on the inside, because there is a dimension of love that we all have access to, or should have access to. And if you don't have access to it, then you need awakening. Have a great life.